meditation is in the beginning, and no one gets it. It's not forcing everything out of your mind. It's sitting there quietly and realizing what is on your mind. Because now you're gonna know exactly, because the voice is gonna start immediately. And that's a gift, because most of the time you're on autopilot. It is talking, it is controlling you, and you don't know what's happening. All you've got to do is have enough time to ask yourself, is this worth my peace? All you got to say. Because if you say that to yourself, 99.9% of the time, it's not. And if you are conscious enough to be able to say that, is this worth my peace? You'll realize it's not, and it will change your life.
Basically, any sign of weakness or changes in that persona, your entire public life and public image can completely fall apart. So the pressure is even more, you know?
And I promise you, you will notice down the line something negative happens, and all of a sudden that voice starts and says, I am happy, healthy. It becomes the default almost. It's the program that now kicks in instead of, oh God, why is this happening to me? My life is so horrible. If you just do little things, you'll change it. You'll change everything.
If you are new to this podcast, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share, because that helps us to be recommended in the algorithms. If you would like to support this podcast, please check out our merch store on Amazon with the brand Todd and Me. We've got some cool t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and sweaters. Link will be in the description of this podcast. And if you're now starting a spiritual journey, you would like to start a spiritual journey, or you're currently on a spiritual journey and you would like some help removing some fears and traumas, please hit me up on my Instagram at Adriano_246, and it will help you to get some magic mushrooms. Enjoy the show and stay tuned, because we have some more great content coming soon. What if the life you're living isn't the life you were meant to live, but the one you were programmed into? Welcome back, my beautiful and brilliant people. This is the Conscious Man 7 podcast, and I'm your host, Todd Cave. Our guest today is Brent Webb, and his life reads like a script you wouldn't believe it if it were fiction. A man whose headline shows in casinos, cruise ships, and colleges, created mindset seminars for Fortune 500 giants like Ford and Google, and worked alongside legendary icons like Joan Rivers, Dolly Parton, and Dionne Warwick. But beyond the glamour, this is a man who dismantled his matrix. Brent faced addiction, anxiety, and cancer. He hit rock bottom and didn't just bounce back, he reprogrammed his entire reality. Today, Brent Webb is known globally as a mind power expert and spiritual teacher who helps people uncover the hidden abilities within themselves to heal, love, lead, and truly live. In this episode, we dive deep into how to unlock your subconscious mind for rapid transformation, break free from addiction, fear, and illness, shift from identity to essence, escape the noise of consumerism, and find spiritual wealth. This isn't just about mindset, this is about freedom. If you've ever felt like your spirit is screaming for something more, if you felt stuck, foggy, or like the system is designed to keep you small, this conversation will crack your consciousness wide open. So settle in, take a breath, and get ready to meet the version of yourself that knows you're capable of so much more.
When truth is blurred by lies and misinformation, perception becomes reality. What will you perceive your reality to be?
Liberate your fears and walk with me.
Sit down and meditate. Connect with your soul.
Be a monster and then learn how to control it.
You got to be willing to do the work.
So it really goes really deep in terms of words and etymology and what they mean. So this is why it is really hard to really crack the matrix, because there's so many levels and layers to it, you know? Hello, Brent. Welcome to the Conscious Man 7 podcast. How are you today?
I'm so great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm excited to talk to you today because what a story you have. And just doing some research on you, I was like, okay, this is going to be an awesome conversation. So let's dive right in. So let's start from breaking free from the matrix, let's talk a little bit about identity, programming, and awakening.
Sure.
So you've said most people are hypnotized by their environment. How can someone tell if they're living a programmed matrix version of themselves?
Well, almost everybody is. So it's maybe 2% of people that are really awakened to, to more. From the moment that we're born, we start to get programmed by our parents and our siblings and the teachers and the media and the government. That is all programming. So by the time you're an adult, you have this old rusty tape that's running inside your head. So, I mean, you didn't pick your religion, you didn't pick your beliefs most of the time. They came down to you, generationally. So now we're adults, it's up to us to figure out what is really going on up there because it's a mess and it's really not our fault. And it's not our parents' fault. I mean, the same thing happened to them. It is just one of those things where nobody is really awake. They're sleepwalking through their life. They don't realize that it's programming. And it's so easy to fall back. Anytime you try to break the pattern, it's like the grooves in a record. You just fall right back into it. It's very, it takes conscious effort, to stay mindful and to stay in the moment.
Yes, it's true. What you're saying, I can attest to that. Even when you go through an awakening and you learn a bunch of stuff, you're still programmed to some degree. And it seems to be a constant struggle, effort every day you have to give in order to keep overcoming, because the programming, you've spent your entire life being programmed and plugged into the matrix. So even though you have a bunch of experiences and you learn some things, it always seems to want to creep back in at some point. And I like I tell my clients, it is every day you have to fight. Every day you have to try to win your day. You have to try to win your morning, because it is so easy to go back to how you used to be, because that is the way you were for your entire life,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, complacency and comfort, that's what we're all about. We love things that are, that feel good, that are quick. That's what, humans go for nowadays. It's very, very difficult to, even if you get awakened, to stay there for a lot of people. It's just, it's crazy.
The number you said, though, was a little bit lower than what I thought. You said 2%. I was thinking more maybe like 10%, but
I think nowadays 2 is amazing, because it used to be literally no one. I mean, we're talking 60s, 70s, 80s. Everyone was into personal development, but nobody was really getting awakened. They were all into the Tony Robbins way. He gets you into this state where you are just super motivated, right? He gets you hyped up and you spend a weekend and you're walking on fire and you feel amazing. But then you got to go back to your life. And Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, that wears off. If you get somebody into that kind of state, it's almost impossible to stay there. Not without constant stimulation and motivation. Now, Tony Robbins is gone. You're back home, right? So you slip back into it. If you do this, you don't need anybody else. You don't need me. Everything you need is inside you. We literally are born with the most amazing supercomputer ever invented, right? And the funny thing is, when you buy anything, like a toaster, a cell phone, a television, anything, you get a huge manual that tells you how to work it, tells you exactly how to use it. You have this thing, which is the most sophisticated machine ever devised. It can do unbelievable, incredible things. I mean, it got us to the moon, right? This mind is incredible. We have no idea how to use it. Like I remember in school, my teachers would say, you need to learn how to focus. And then one day I was like, when did we learn focus? Because I don't remember. And she admitted she didn't know focus. You're right. Nobody really teaches us how to do that. And they don't. I mean, from a very early age, it's all about becoming a cog in the machine, becoming a fireman or they're trying to fit you into this programming. So when you step out, it's a lonely road for a lot of people, but it is so rewarding. And it's amazing because, like I said, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to India and meditate in a cave. You don't have to, buy some weekend seminar. You can do this wherever you're watching this. As long as you believe you can do it, as long as you put the effort into it, you can do this.
Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper. So what was the moment in your life where you realized that your reality was not just happening to you, but being created by you?
Well, there's a couple of stories. When I was 10, I started out as a magician. I was a little kid magician. A lot of, boys, little overweight, they become magicians. It's like, I can do something cool. So I started out that way. And I went to the library. I was about 10, and I always went to the same shelf where the magic books were. And one time, somebody had left a copy of the book called The Magic of Believing. It was just misfiled. And it wasn't. It was definitely meant for me. But it was all about the power of the mind and the power of belief. And so I was only 10 years old, but I read that book and something lit up inside my mind. And I just went, wow, there is a lot more than I ever really realized. So that was going on. I became a professional entertainer. I started touring. I started working with famous people. Joan Rivers, in the first conversation I had with her, she brought up The Magic of Believing, the book that changed my life. And I met several celebrities who swore by that book about, how it changed their mindset. But then when I was in my 20s, I went to a meditation retreat in Nepal. So I went and did this thing. It was in a monastery, and I met the head monk, okay, in charge. And he says, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm a mentalist. So I read minds on stage." And he said, "Think of any word." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Lumberjack." And that was the word. And ever since that point, that's when everything completely changed, because he was doing for real what I have been pretending to do my whole life. He was doing, because he was able to break through that, universal consciousness. It was an incredible thing. So it really kind of changed my work after that. I went from being all about applauding me on stage and being an entertainer to being someone who's just trying to teach people, you've got this amazing machine, you don't know how to use it. Everything you need, you have inside, but it's like flipping a switch. You got to know how to use it. So now I do every TV show I do, every radio show, every podcast, every live event. I always teach people at least something that they can start doing, because just getting applause for me became a hollow thing. Now I'm giving people tools. I have people write me every day, changing my life. I've been meditating. I've been doing this. I've been watching the voice in my head, and people's lives are changing because for the first time, they're looking at themselves. It's like we are so afraid to see what's going on up there. It's like we've left this crazy monkey in charge, and it is up there throwing papers around and banana peels, and it's making a mess up there. And we are so afraid of it, we don't even want to look at it. And until you do, you're never going to get control of your mind, because you have no idea what's going on up there.
So basically, you're saying that you were, as you say, a mentalist, so you could read people's minds, as you say. But then this monk, he basically leveled up what you were doing.
Exactly. And that was the moment. It was just like, because I know how I've spent years, 30 years now, but up to that point, I still spent 15 years in the business. So for somebody to do, I know everything. It's very hard to do anything that fools me. And for somebody to just that, I didn't write it down. I didn't do anything that you could do any sort of trick with. It was literally, think of a word. This is the word. So it was just a crazy thing. And it was one of those things where belief, 'cause I'm a big proponent of belief, but sometimes when you're feeling bad about yourself and you're feeling down about your circumstances, it is hard to get that self-belief. But without it, it's like rocket fuel. And if you don't have it, you can't really make it. It's like many people watching this, they will know someone who is super successful, right? They have a lot of they have very little, no, they have a lot of self-confidence, very little talent. They're successful. It's much easier to do that than to be successful with all the talent in the world, but no self-belief, because self-belief is like paramount. Without it, you're never, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody is going to believe in anything that you have to say. So that part I found starts to come automatically. The belief will come once you start becoming aware of like what is going on up there. We'll talk about this, but I teach the ADCs of mind power in my live events. And it's just, awareness, belief, connection. Those three things, if done in that order, it's like you've got a voice talking in your head, right? We all have this voice talking in our head. And I love when people like in my shows will say, I don't have a voice. And it's like, well, if you have somebody in your head saying that there's not a voice, that's the voice, right? But it's programming. I mean, there's two versions of your voice. There's the voice that we make talk. Like, I'm trying to figure out something. What was her name? And I go back into the data banks and I'm putting the computer to work, right? Then there's the voice that just starts talking. You're driving down the road and it says, remember the birthday party in the 3rd grade where you peed your pants and everyone laughed at you, right? And you get embarrassed again. All of the feeling rushes back. So there are two distinct things going on. There is the personal mind, which we've created, right? And then there is this ego mind that is just programming. It's always saying you're not good enough. Whatever you grew up with is really what that voice is going to sound like, because it's programmed in those first 8 years. And that's what's scary, because now I'm 50. People are 30, 20, 80. You have been living your entire adult life with a program that was made when you were a child. So you weren't mature. You weren't logical. A lot of people were in survival mode in a bad situation. That is the tape that runs when you're on autopilot. So, it's like during the day, we're on autopilot like 90% of the time. That's when your mind is just running and you're doing something, but you're doing it mindlessly. Like when you drive somewhere, you don't have to think, I have to turn left here, and then I go down. You're not doing that. In your mind, you could be arguing with someone or thinking about dinner or creating problems. You've got those two things. So until you get control of that, you're never going to be able to push any farther. The belief will come when you start becoming aware of what that voice is saying in your head.
Yes, I very much agree. Everyone has a voice, and I have had the voice speak to me many times, very, very loud. So you've been through anxiety, addiction, even cancer. When was the moment you realized your healing wasn't going to come from outside you, but from within?
Well, I've known that, like I said, for a long time, but it's when you get tested and you struggle, it's hard to keep that in mind. That's why something like I experience is rocket fuel, because you're seeing proof. A lot of people, they need to see it, right? And that's the problem for most people. You're not, what's that saying? I'll believe it when I see it. It's like, you got to believe it and then you'll see it, because we're all doing it backwards. And so I just came up on the idea that even with the cancer, it's like, this is a mindset thing. The way I look at this is going to dictate a lot of this, because a lot of people, they listen to the doctor, everything the doctor says, no matter if the doctor was to say, you're stage 4, you have, 6 months to live. Almost, it's like 90% of those people die in that time frame because they believe that what the person is saying is real. So you have to use that backwards to our benefit. It's like the belief starts to manifest itself when you start becoming aware. You start realizing this is old programming. It doesn't make any sense. It's controlling my life. It's destroying my happiness. And it's completely illogical. So once you do start looking at it, it just disappears, because it's like any scary thing that you pull into the light. It can't hold up because we've been afraid of it for so long, but it's just built on sand. It will definitely disappear. You don't have to go to a therapist. I tell people, you go to a therapist, how do you feel when you leave the therapist's office? You don't feel good. You just went through you talked about a bunch of trauma, whatever it is, you relived it, you go home, you feel bad that night, you feel, you get better, and then it's time to go to the therapist again. Hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to confront these things. What you have to do is go in and stop looking on the outside. That's what we all do. It's like something out there is going to make me happy. Something out there is, the job, the person, the smaller butt, the sports car, whatever it is, that's where happiness is, when happiness is an inner thing. So it's that going inside, giving yourself another chance. We give everybody second chances, fifth chances, 318th chances. It's like, give yourself another chance, because you deserve it. And you are so much more powerful than you know. And that's what people need to realize, because people can be depressed, they can be down, and it's very hard to see that there is so much more when you're in that position. So you have to understand, you've got to look outside of what everyone else, this just normal, what we all think is reality. You've got to start looking inside, because really the reality that matters is inner reality. It's not the outer, which is what everyone thinks. Houses, cars, money, other people, that is what's important, but it's not. It's secondary to what's going on inside, because until you get a control of this, you're always going to be chasing everything out there and trying to make that somehow fit into what you've decided you have to have. It's like, so think think about it. Like you've decided what you need, and then you try to twist reality to fit your very slim idea of what has to happen to make you happy. So that's the problem. It's a fix that is easy once you're willing to look at yourself.
Yes. So since everything is inside, and I guess it's more than just necessary belief, right? But let's dive down a little bit on belief. What belief did you have to kill to survive cancer, and what new truth took its place?
Well, fear kills everything. I mean, basically in life, that is the number one thing that we are facing. It's a fear of something, fear of us not doing something, fear of not getting something. It's always this fear issue. And when you let fear take control, first of all, it's illogical. Fear, whenever you're afraid, you're not thinking logically. You're not coming from a place of power. You're coming from a very defensive, oh my God, I'm scared to death mindset. But when you refuse to give that control outside of you, okay, that's where it changes. Looking in is very hard, like I said, for most people, because first of all, when you sit, I tell people you have to do something where you're connecting to yourself. Now, I meditate every day and I teach 15 minutes twice a day, but I do 45 minutes twice a day. And that sounds like a lot, but I've been doing that for so long because it's transformed my life. I mean, it's so life-changing that I get up, if I have to fly on an airplane at 5 a.m., I'll be up at 12:30 just to get that meditation in, to be able to do my normal routine in the morning, because it's that powerful. Nobody wants to sit alone, because what happens immediately is the voice starts talking. And for most people, that voice is like a torturer. It's a tormentor. It's like you're trapped in an apartment with a bitchy roommate and you can't get away from them, right? They're narrating your life. They're telling you how stupid you are and how worthless you are. So it's like when you sit quietly, guess what happens? That voice starts up right away. And now you're really paying attention to it. That's really what meditation is in the beginning, and no one gets it. It's not forcing everything out of your mind. It's sitting there quietly and realizing what is on your mind, because now you're going to know exactly, because the voice is going to start immediately. And that's a gift, because most of the time you're on autopilot. It is talking, it is controlling you, and you don't know what's happening. But sitting there quietly, and you can call it whatever you want. You call it prayer, meditation, contemplation. It doesn't matter. It's sitting alone for a few minutes, no cell phone, right? We have a 7-second attention span. Sitting alone, no noise, and quietly, I close my eyes, I meditate. But you can do anything as long as you're not, trying to do something else, thinking about lunch. You have to, I tell people count 1 to 20 over and over in your mind. Just anything to give that lower mind a job so that you can transcend it. And that's where transcendence, like in transcendental meditation, comes from, because you go above that mind and you're in a place. If you get there for a second, I guarantee you will never stop, because it is the most bliss, the most joy that you've ever felt. It's like in most people's lives, you've had maybe 5 peak experiences. That would be like getting married, having a child, the first car, the first kiss. There's a handful of those. That's how we should feel all of the time. It's like we've got that energy inside. Where do you think the energy comes from, right? It doesn't just appear magically. It's inside, but we think we have to do something to earn that. So we've turned it into something where the energy is only flowing when we think it's deserved. And that's a big problem, because you're cutting yourself off from this. It's really like a river of joy. And all you got to do is get in there. Yogananda used to say, find the river within you of joy and drown. Get in it and drown, because that's what it is. But it takes that ability to sit quietly every day. And, you're not so much trying to change what it's saying. You're not fighting with what it's saying. You're letting it say it and pass through. Like everything is meant to be transient. We're all energy. Everything is energy. Thoughts and emotions, that's all energy. But for a lot of people, most people, something happens. The energy's trying to come through. It makes us uncomfortable and we push it down. We suppress it. And now, 5 years later, something happens similar. All that emotion comes up. You break up with your girlfriend. She drives a red pickup truck. Every time you see a red pickup truck on the road, all the emotion of the breakup comes back, because we've stored it and then we've pushed it down and said, I don't want to feel that. And then anything reminds us of it, it comes back up. What do? It wants to get out. We push it back down again. And it's like, people that say, don't go there with me. That means you're getting very close to something that's going to trigger me. My mom used to say, you can't talk about that around your father. That means dad has some triggers. Those are really gifts because it's showing you what wants to get out of you, right? Wants to pass, but you've held it in for so long. It comes up, you push it down. So these things, it's really these become easy once you just start taking steps, step by step, no matter how slow you're going. If you're moving in the right direction, you're going to get there. You will get there if you just do this. Doesn't matter how much at a time, but you start moving towards it because it's so different than what everybody else is doing. You're going to see that you're living on a different plane when you do this.
What you said is true. And I find that one of the most difficult things for us in the human experience is to actually look at ourselves in the mirror, which is what meditation does. And we have this flaw in us where we like to look at the speck in our brother's eyes, but we never can see the logs in ours. And basically, we seem to be afraid to basically come to grips with who we are, what we are, where we've come from, why we are the way we are, and we just run away from these questions, So for those listening who feel stuck, what's one mental pattern they need to break today if they want to truly evolve?
Well, the first thing you have to do, no matter, it doesn't matter where you are on the journey. Some people will be farther along, some people are just starting, but you can't move at all until you become aware of what is going on. The program's running your life. It's running in the background 90% of the day. You've never looked at it. And if you have, you didn't spend much time on it. It's frightening. So it's like, what is going on? And I tell people the easiest way, there's two things I teach. The first is you name the voice in your head, the voice that just talks, the bitchy roommate, I call it. I named mine Carl a long time ago. Give it a funny name, whatever. And it sounds so dumb and like one of those Saturday Night Live sketches with the motivational speaker kind of thing, but it works because what's happening is you're taking a voice that scares the hell out of you, right? Most of the time it's this booming voice and you're afraid of it. It turns it into, I look at it like a child. It's just a petulant, bitchy little kid who is not getting their way. And if you look at it like that, like, oh, there goes Carl again. As soon as the voice starts, if you say, because remember, you're not the voice, you're not the thoughts, you are the person who's seeing that, the overseer, you're the soul, you're the awareness, you are the consciousness. So the thoughts that are happening are things that you're seeing. It's not you. So instead of the voice talking and then you getting pulled into it, and now you go down that road, when the voice talks and you realize it, and you will, you say, there goes Carl again. And you kind of laugh at it. Oh, crazy. He's so crazy. And again, it takes all the sting out. It's not the voice of God. It's not the voice of the future. It is programming. And that will start, you will literally start knocking this wall down the moment you start to go, okay, what is that voice saying when I'm on autopilot? And that's how you do it. Name the voice is the first. The other one, once you've done that, do it for a week. And you'll do it for the rest of your life. I promise you, because you're going to start to see this stuff is so not only unhelpful, but it's doesn't make any sense anymore. It's something you created as a child. You're an adult. It makes no sense now. When you finally see it, you're going to go, oh my God, it's crazy. It makes no sense that this is controlling me. So do it for a week. And then when the voice is talking, you go, oh, there goes Carl again, or whatever the voice is. Just doing that, what that's doing is think about this. Most of the time you have a thought and you get pulled into the thought and you go down that road. Now you have a thought, it's a bad thought, and you go, there goes Carl again. And it stops. Now, instead of getting pulled into it, you are aware that it's a thought. It's not you. It's not. So that is a huge win right there. So that'll happen. But the other thing is you do that for a week. Now get some Post-it notes. Okay. Whatever the name of the voice is. So Carl, in my case, you write that name on about 20 Post-it notes and you put them everywhere. You put them in the car, in the house, at the office, in the bathroom, in the closet, places you don't go all the time. And then for the next week, you carry a little pad, maybe a little writing pad and a pen. And all you do whenever you're going about your day and you see that Post-it note, it's immediately a trigger. Stop, what's on my mind right now, okay? And you write it down. You don't argue with it, get pulled into it, try to figure out why it's saying that. None of that. All you do is write it down. Because again, it's all of a sudden now you're in the moment and you're becoming aware. You write down what it's saying. At the end of the week, go back and read the notes of what the voice was saying, and you will see the most screwed up bunch of BS that you have ever read in your life. Because again, it's not logical. It makes no sense. That right there will get you 90%. It really will. It will get you so close. The meditation and all that you do after that is fine. But until you get control of the awareness, it's futile. You can't move any farther than you are right now until you start becoming aware of what's going on up there. And that's the best way to get control of that.
That's really interesting because I've done the opposite where I just, my higher self, I just call it a voice. I never called it a name, but I just call it the voice because that's the only thing that I can call it, because when the voice comes in, it's very, very loud. I can either be in a awakened state or sleeping, physically sleeping. And the voice would come in and shout, and I'd be like, oh gosh, man, it's so loud. But no, you're talking about on the opposite side, where every time that other voice that talks to you, well, more like whispers, hey man, you know what I mean? You're not good enough.
Eat the cake. Eat the cake. That
Right.
voice.
Right. So you're talking about writing it down, and just every time that voice speaks to you, well, you call it a name, that Terry, for example, for this example, every time Terry talks to you, you just write it down, put it on the wall, put it in your cupboard, put it on your kitchen cupboard door. And you're saying after a week, just re-look at all of them, and then again further rewrite everything that comes to mind in that moment from reading them.
Well, like I said, the first thing, once you name it, you spend the first week just when that voice talks, you say, there goes Carl again. And because what you're doing now is you're creating a separation between the voice that you make talk, the voice that we need, and this ego-driven concoction that we've created. You're separating it now by giving this one a name, okay? So you do that for a week. There goes Carl, there goes Lucy, there goes whoever, and you laugh at it. And again, it starts to give you separation. Then get some Post-it notes, write the name on a bunch of Post-it notes. So whatever you name the voice, so in my case, it's Carl, you write that name on a bunch of Post-it notes, you place them everywhere. And now for the next week, all you do is when you see one of those, you're going about your day and you open the closet and you put one in there. Now you see it. So now what's on my mind right now? Because it's going to force you at the exact moment you see that, you're going to get the trail end of whatever is going on up there. And you just write it down. You just carry a little pad, a little spiral pad with you. At the end of the next week, just go back and read all the things you wrote down that voice was saying, and you will realize it is so illogical and so messed up that, again, it loses its power. These little brain hacks are huge. They're not some motivational speaking kind of tool where you're giving somebody some kind of false hope. You're literally rewriting your brain programming. You've done this for year after year after year, and you've got a record album up there with all those grooves in it. And it's every time it stops and it starts again, you're going right back into the same patterns. When you start disrupting that, when you start changing the way that's happening, first of all, the lower voice is not going to be happy because, even though it's programming, it's used to having its own way. It's like you've left that thing up there and it's turned your mind into a battlefield. And now you've got to take control of it. It's not going to be comfortable, not at the beginning, because first of all, you've stored everything that's not comfortable inside you. I mean, think about it. Everything that you didn't like in life, like my dad was afraid of snakes. So guess what? You couldn't talk about snakes. My dad couldn't watch a movie with a snake in it. He couldn't go to the reptile house in the zoo. He couldn't see a coiled up rope on the road because it might be a snake. Snakes controlled him. And that's one thing. We do that with everything. I like this. I don't like that. This scares me. I don't like him. You do that with your entire life. So you build up this programming. And that's all it is. It's like, where did these ideas come from? You made it up. That's where they came from. You decided that's the way you want it. And you made that up. Nobody told you that. You've decided from whatever your family background, whatever your life, whatever that is, you've decided how it has to be for your life to be happy. And now you're going to go out there and fight the universe. Really, you're going to pit yourself against whatever you believe, God, source, the universe. It's you versus them. If you go out there saying, life's about me, it should be the way I want it. No, life has been happening for billions of years. The fact that we think it has to do with us is laughable. Like, we think every moment has to do with us. Like, it's all about us, what I want, what I don't want, who I want to talk to. That's what we think life is. We don't realize it's, what's really going on out there. Soon as you start looking away from that personal mind, which is, I want this, I don't want that, and try to figure out how it has to be to make you happy. Imagine going out into the world every day and trying to twist it around to fit the way you want it to be so you're happy. And then saying, I won't be happy until that happens. It's not going to happen. It's super rare for everything to line up the way you want. And so instead of thinking, I got to have this to make me happy, start making yourself happy, because that's an inner thing. So once you start meditating, once you start becoming aware, once you start realize what this voice is saying, you will start to gain that belief. And so, like I said, the belief comes back automatically. Most people have lost it a long time ago, but it will come back without anything. You don't have to do any sort of exercise as soon as you become aware of the voice. What's the voice saying? What is this programming doing? As soon as that happens, then you go, wow, I have been living in a tiny little fish bowl. It's like a fish who's in water. They don't know they're in water. That's their entire world. They don't realize there's anything outside of the fish bowl. They've been in water. That's how we are. It's like we don't realize what is really happening because we are so laser focused on us, the people we care about, and the things that we want, that we miss everything.
So that was quite of a major hack that you gave. So I'm curious then, what is the fastest way to shift from being unconscious to awaken in daily life, especially in a world full of distraction? Or was that hack the answer to that question?
Well, you can use it for that, but I mean, there are little things like I still do. Now, I hate the word awakened or enlightened because everybody's on a different path. And if you say I'm here and somebody thinks they've got so I never really, I try not to label anything because again, we're all at different levels here. But you can do very little things. Like I used to carry a rock. I go outside, pick up a rock, little small rock anywhere. You get one anywhere. Put it in your pocket. And that's going to be your consciousness stone. It's going to be your mindful rock, whatever you call it. All you're doing is when you reach into your pocket, you take out and you feel that rock. Oh, you become mindful in the moment. So you touch the rock and you pull yourself into the moment. It is your trigger to be here now. Because it's like nobody wants the moment. Here's the big problem with us. It's like you're making a cup of coffee. Nobody wants this moment. You want the moment when you're drinking the coffee, right? You're 17 and you're going out Friday night. It's Wednesday. You don't want Wednesday and Thursday. You want it to be Friday. Vacation's next week and it's Wednesday and of the week before. You don't want that. You want it to be Monday of the next week. That's what we do. We put happiness ahead of us and then we chase after it our entire life. So it's like, even if you catch it, like I love when people say to me, yeah, but one time I got exactly what I wanted. And I say, when that happened, how long until you wanted something else? And guess what? It's 5 minutes, 5 hours. It's never the thing. I always thought when I get the big house, I'll be happy. Got the big house, wasn't happy. It becomes something else. So when you do that, you're on a never ending wheel where, you're putting the control of your happiness out there in other people and other things. Only if I get this. So you have to be you're not greedy but you have to look at yourself. We spend so much time on other people. It's like so many people are giving their entire life away to other people, their kids, their spouse, their whoever. You still have to have some time for you because without it, not only will you never awaken or whatever you want to call it, but you can save your kids and the entire generational line from the trauma that has infected your family by being the one who stops and says, okay, I'm going to take control of this. You literally can change your entire family dynamic from this moment forward, the people that are going to come after you because you took a stand. So The rock is away. You reach your hand in your pocket or your purse, you touch the rock, and it's just a trigger to go, hey, be mindful. Pull yourself into the moment. And that could be looking around at the trees, or just realizing you're in this moment. You're not, we spend 40% of every day in the past. Now think about this. 40% of every day we spend in the past. That means we're doing things like this. If this hadn't happened, he wouldn't have left. If I had gone to college, I wouldn't have this job. This and that and this. So that's 40% of the day in the past. We spend 40% of the same day in the future, worried about all these things we think are going to happen and hoping they don't happen this way and being scared to death about it. That's 80% of the day you have wasted on something that is unchangeable. And what people don't get either is this moment is all there is. Because this moment, when the past was happening, this moment you're trying to, get back to, it was this moment, right? This is the moment. When the future gets here, it will be this moment. It's like the future and past don't exist really. This exists. Nobody wants this. It's like you're always looking for something outside of this moment. So becoming mindful of your surroundings, of the air, of anything that'll bring you present. And the more you can do that, I don't care what you have to do. During your day, little tricks, little hacks, write yourself notes, whatever it is, leave yourself a voicemail, whatever that is, that just makes you become present, which is, it's amazing out there. You go outside, sometimes you're so present. It's like, my God, I've lived here all my life. I don't remember how green this tree is. I don't remember, it's amazing what we miss every day because we label everything. It's like we label people. You meet somebody who it was drunk, and now you've labeled them the drunk in your mind. Maybe that's the only time they drank, and somebody they loved died, and they were drunk the time you saw them. But in your mind, they're the drunk, and we do that. The bitch, the drunk, the this, the that, the this. But we do it with everything. So it's the pine tree, the car, the sofa, and you no longer see individual things. You don't not only not see individual people, but you don't see like pine tree. If that's a pine tree, there's no reason to look at that particular one. They're all the same, right? So you no longer see things. You're just seeing a list of things that you've named in your mind. And like I said, it goes with people, it goes with things, it goes with everything. People do it with weather. If it's raining on their day off, they hate their life. There's little tiny things you can do to become present. Like you're driving down the road and somebody in front of you is driving too slow, for instance. Most people go crazy. You're back there going, what are you doing? My God, I got to get somewhere. This person is up there driving completely oblivious to you back there freaking out. So what is that doing for this situation? All it's doing is creating stress and anxiety in you. He doesn't even know what you're doing unless you're beeping and yelling and screaming, which is even worse, right? So it's like those little things you can let go immediately. It's raining on your day off. Oh, God hates me. Oh, everyone's out to get me. Oh, I never win. All that crap. Let it go. Those little things, when you let them go, they give you big power later. It's like little things, that's low-hanging fruit, we call it. Little tiny things you can tackle every day without going for the big stuff. Don't go for, if you have some big trauma issue, don't go for that on your first day. You're going to go for, the rain on your day off, the person in front of you who's driving slow, somebody not putting tomatoes on your sandwich at the restaurant, whatever it is. Make those your little things you're going to start with. And you'll start to see the big things will start trying to get out because now you're no longer dealing with the little things anymore. The big things are like, hey, look at me. And you're pushing it down. You start to let that come up because you've stored everything that ever bothered you. And then you wonder why you're bothered. That's what people do. It's like, if you stored everything that ever bothered you, and we did, how can you not be bothered? There's no way you can't. So, and it's like, it's torture because something that happened to you for a second, like, seeing a snake, it lasts 10 seconds. It's controlling you for 50 years, 60 years of your life. Like you've thought about that probably, who knows, days, weeks, months worth of time you've spent on something that was over in less than a minute. We do it with everything. You're going to get a shot. You worry about the shot for a week before, you're mad a week after. It's like, it took a second to get that shot. But that's what happens. It's like, as soon as you become present, you start to realize, again, there's so much more here, and it starts to make you conscious. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's exactly what it is. Your consciousness starts to expand. It's like right now, your consciousness might be the size of a marble. And then the more you do, the more you meditate, the more you bring back your focus, which is what really meditation, what I teach is count to 20, 1 to 20 over and over. If you go anywhere else, you go to 50, you've gone too far, you go back to 1, 2, 3. You just keep doing it over and over. If you're counting and you start thinking about lunch, you go back to 1. You never argue, you never worry, you never wonder why the voice is saying what it's saying. All you do is go back to 1 and count to 20. If you do that, what's happening? This is the big secret. That's how you build focus. You are building a muscle, so to speak, that is so powerful because it's the way you focus. It's by pulling back your focus. You're counting, your mind starts thinking about your arm being sore. You go back to 1. That's focus. You've now pulled back your focus. 1, 2, 3. You're counting. All of a sudden, what am I going to have for lunch? What leftovers do I have? 1, 2. As soon as you realize it's talking, you go right back to 1. Every time you do that, you are increasing your ability to focus. What's going to happen is that's going to come out into your life. And you're going to start to see situations that used to make you so mad. Now, all of a sudden, this incredible power that you didn't have before is now present because you've cultivated it during meditation. Meditation it's like you're working in your inner sanctuary. You're creating this amazing power and it starts to come out. It seeps out into your life and you will see things. Like I said, it's almost like things go in slow motion. Somebody who bothered you before comes up. And now it seems like time is moving slower because you have all the time in the world to deal with this instead of they say something, it triggers you and you're in it and you're fighting and you're yelling and you're arguing. Now they're starting to say the stuff and you are like in slow motion. You're in the zone and you're like, okay. And all I tell people to do, all you've got to do is have enough time to ask yourself, is this worth my peace? All you got to say. Because if you say that to yourself, 99.9% of the time, it's not. And if you are conscious enough to be able to say that, is this worth my peace? You'll realize it's not, and it will change your life because you're just so used to letting that thing go off on tangents and you've just run along with it. Now you're taking a stand as the consciousness, as the person in control here, the being in control. I'm not going to do that anymore. And it's not going to like it. But over time, you are going to become almost supernatural because you're going to tap into a power we all have, but nobody uses. They have no idea how to use it.
Okay, so you talked about us basically living in the past most of the time and also in the future, and then spending a lot of time on the outside. So how can we stop outsourcing our worth to consumerism and instead build an inner state of wealth that money can't buy?
Ooh, that's a great question because it's so true. We think the things that matter are out there. Cars, the sports car, the mansion, the model girlfriend, the $1 million, all of those things we think are the things that we have to have because what we've done is we put happiness in things, like I said. So what's happening is you're chasing everything on the outside. Never makes you happy. If you do get it, if you happen to get it, you won't stay happy for long. You'll want the next thing. That game is a never-ending hamster wheel. You just never get off of it because it will run for your entire life. The trick is get off your phone sometime. The trick is, turn off your laptop and nobody will allow themselves to have any downtime. It's like in 1989, we had a 7-minute attention span. Now think about this, 7 minutes. Today, it's 7 seconds, which is why everything online, like you're on your phone, you're scrolling, it's like bright colors, flashes. It's trying to get you to stop in those 7 seconds. That's what our life has become. We are so overstimulated with technology that we no longer see anything else. We have put our laser focus on that. Who cares what Mary had for lunch today? And she's taken an Instagram picture of it. You are seeing a very cultivated version of other people's lives. You think this is reality. This guy might have taken 50 pictures to get one decent. You don't know what's going on. But again, we allow all of that consumerism. I got to have the best car. I got to have this diamond ring. I got to have, the name brand shirt, all of those things, because we're programmed to think, well, somehow it's going to make me better. Somehow I'm going to be happy. Because again, we think happiness is in things, right? So it's like, we want more, we need more things. It's not working. So I need designer clothes now. Oh, that feels great for 5 seconds. And then you need the next. So you're chasing that. If you decide I'm going to spend some time every day, 20 minutes a day, you can start 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening on yourself. Doesn't cost you anything, but exactly what you said is going to happen. You will unlock the most unbelievable treasure trove inside you that you don't even know is there. It's like, that's what matters. The world outside doesn't. It's secondary. It's always going to be secondary to your inner. So you've got to get in the mindset of realizing I've got to go in order to get out, because I can't, you can't get out of this situation until you go in and you start to face some of the things that you've stored away in there. So, we are driven by fame, by money, by designer things, by that is so unimportant in the long run. And I know, hey, I grew up thinking all that. So it's not like you're people out there watching this. Nobody's saying that, how horrible it is that you're doing this, because I did it too. Everybody does it. We think that's the way to live. But by looking at that, it's a empty box. I mean, you're never gonna get anything out of that. It's just all tinsel, all flash, all sizzle, and there's no substance to that. So if you want to get to a place you've never been, a place where you're happy, a place where you can be the best in relationships, where you can be, the best provider for your family, where you can be the healthiest, whatever it is, you have to go in, because that is where it really happens. It doesn't happen out there.
Yes, I concur that everything is basically on the inside. The outside is formed from the inside. So let's switch gears and talk about reprogramming the mind. So you teach people to reprogram reality. What's one practical mental code someone can install today that starts shifting their life trajectory?
Well, like I said, if you look at the things that bother you during the day, during a normal day, and you start to when I say let go, people hate that. They think it means that you're saying, like, I've had people say to me, they have a problem with their mother. And so they've got these things going on their entire life, and they hate their mom and she did these horrible things. And then you find out she died 15 years ago, but she didn't die for you, because she's living inside your mind, and she's still doing to you what she did to you then, because you're allowing it to happen. There has to be a point, no matter what you've been through, where you say, I didn't do this to myself, but I'm going to take responsibility for fixing this. Because otherwise, it's like you get divorced. Are you really divorced? Because all you're doing is thinking about your ex and, oh boy, is he going to be at this party I'm going to? And you go into the party looking for him. Right? So you've done this thing where you've created an alternate reality. And we do it every day because we think what we need to make us happy, and we create this reality, then we try to make it happen. That's an alternate reality. When you live in that, you never experience what's really happening. You can't, because you're in this, and it's like you're in such a game, I don't know what you want to call it, the Matrix. It's like you are plugged into something that is feeding you all of the information. You have no idea. It's that fish in the fishbowl. You don't know what's going on. So little things you can do. So you asked me, wait, you cut out a little bit. You asked me for steps to, what was the thing you asked?
I was saying, how can you teach people to reprogram reality? So what's one practical mental code someone can install today to shift their life trajectory?
Got it. Like I said, the little things, letting the little things go. And by saying letting go, it's somebody driving slow in front of you. Instead of getting upset, you just kind of relax. And it's counterintuitive to what you want to do. But if you relax, what's happening is you're just releasing the muscles, and you're not tensing up. You're not creating the anxiety. It will pass. It's a small thing. It's nothing. If you do that with everything, you do it as much as you can with the little things. Like I said, little tiny, the soup is warm and it's not hot in the restaurant. Send it back by all means, but don't send it, oh my God, why is this soup not, catch yourself before you get pulled into a pattern, because that's what those are. You become the same person every time you get pulled into that pattern, because you're not conscious. You are completely being run by a program. So whenever you do the little things, Now the big things will be like, let me out of here. They're going to come up. And instead of going, get back down there, which is what we do, let it come up. It'll be uncomfortable. And you're not going to let it go the first time, but at least sit with it. Don't fight it. Feel it. And then, of course, if you want to push it back down, that's fine. But the next time it comes up, I promise you, it will come up with a little less strength, and it will do that more and more. This is a thing that compounds itself. People think, okay, I meditate every day. Is this getting me anywhere? Every minute that you meditate, every minute that you're mindful, every minute that you name the voice in your head, every minute that you are conscious of what is happening in your life is a huge win, because you are ahead of almost everybody else, because you are in reality. It's like, I love when people say, I have people that say to me, not only do I not want this to happen, I have people that say, I didn't want this to happen, or I want this not to have happened. I mean, think about that. That's the, like, I can't get over that this happened. Okay, that's a problem because it happened. It happened. That was reality. You trying to make an alternate reality after the fact does nothing but trap you. So all it is getting some honesty in your life and looking at the things that you're afraid to look at, like the parts that you play in your own suffering. Again, you didn't cause it in many instances, but you have allowed it to continue because now you're an adult. There is nobody over you anymore. It's you that's in control. So you can't keep blaming mom, dad, uncles, aunts, teachers, whatever. You can't blame them for the rest of your life because it's just giving you an escape clause to get out of it, to get out of ever making any effort to change your life. So by doing little things consistently, it will build up, build up, build up. And over time, that power, you're going to have a power that you just didn't know existed. And it allows you to live life at a level that nobody else, very few people are living at. It's like when you see somebody walk into a room and they're magnetic, everyone looks at them. They don't have to be the most good-looking person. They don't have to be the most gregarious person. They are somebody who has such a self-belief issue going on that they almost shine. That's what happens. You're like, well, who is this? Because so many of us don't have that. We are immediately pulled to somebody who does. Somebody who doesn't worry what other people think. It's like, I talk in my seminar a lot. I say, what's the big picture here? Because this is another great thing you can do. Okay, you're going through your day and the day's crappy, right? You go, right now, there's a giant rock that's in outer space. A giant rock is floating in outer space and I'm on it. I'm on that rock and I'm only here for a very short amount of time. I'm in a place where there's everything you possibly could want, everything you'd want to do, everything you'd want to become, everything you'd want to eat, everything. And what are you doing with this unbelievable opportunity? Here's what you're doing. Oh God, I hope Mary likes my dress. Oh, somebody scratched my car. I got ketchup on my pants, blah, blah, blah. That is what you're doing with this miracle. So it's like, if you take the big picture, which is another way to get present, is to look at the big picture. Okay. That you're looking at, oh, my boss yelled at me today. Okay. My boss yelled at me. I'm on a rock in outer space. I'm flying through outer space. I'm worried about what my boss said. Somebody said some words. They're out in the air. It's over. Right. And I'm going to worry about it. That's what we do. So it's like, as soon as you take that, I was in Tahiti. I told you a couple of weeks ago, I was on a cruise. It was hot. It was super hot. They had this boat drill and we're standing outside. It's like 100 degrees. I'm a big guy. I'm like getting hot. Right. And the voice in my head very rarely talks anymore, but it started to say, what am I doing here? Why am I out here? It is really hot out here. This is ridiculous. Right. I knew it. I caught it right away. So what you do in that case, again, look at the big picture. I said, why am I hot? Why is it hot? Well, 93 million miles away, there's a star. That star is so hot, I can feel the heat from it. That is why I'm hot. That is literally why I'm being star burned, not sunburned. It's a star, right? That's what's happening. It's 93 million miles away, and it is so hot that I feel the heat from it. That's a miracle. That's amazing, right? So again, it takes all of that, oh, poor me. Why am I out in the heat? To this is a living miracle that we're on. I mean, people say, I had a baby. You didn't have a baby. A baby was created and came out of you. You didn't create the spleen. You didn't make an eyeball. You literally ate food and something inside you turned that food into fuel for that baby. The baby pops out. You didn't do that. It's happening. Life is happening all around us. We think we're in control of it. We're not. It's like everything is happening in a rhythm that's been going on for billions of years. When you stop fighting it, everything becomes so much easier. It's like you're in a rowboat and you're rowing your whole life. You can't see, there's water splashing in your face, you're exhausted, and you realize one day that you are in the river, but you're rowing in the wrong direction. The river's going one way and you're rowing against it. The solution is just let the paddles in the water, lay down, and let the river take you, because that's what life is doing. I mean, life is happening. By trying to fight it or change it or make it, and that's not saying you can't go out and try to get what you want, live the life you want and help people and get the job you want. It's not that. It's the fact that you think reality shouldn't be happening the way it is, or reality didn't happen the way you wanted to. Let all that go. And again, little things will get you there. This is 90% of the way. You're almost there by just bringing awareness to your life.
Okay, so you've helped Fortune 500 companies and celebrities. What's one limiting belief you've seen even the successful people struggle with?
Well, let me tell you what, I have seen I'm not good enough with people you would never in your life imagine. And I'm talking about famous, confident looking people. That I've worked with a lot of comedians. And so like Joan Rivers, Don Rickles, these are people that were famous for being mean and nasty but really fast-witted, and were able to cut you down. And these are iconic comedians. In real life, in reality, that a lot of that is a front. It's that this I'm not good enough is fueling everything, because you're trying to prove that you're good enough. Again, you've created an idea and now you're trying to prove yourself right or wrong, or whatever you're doing. You're playing this interior game. So I always teach people, it's like, you probably don't even know what you want. You don't even know what you want to do, because it's like, are you living your life, or are you living a life that somebody created for you? Like my dad wanted me to be a lawyer. Like my whole life, you need to be a lawyer. You know how to argue. You should. And he was trying to force that to happen. But I know a lot of people that worked, and they are living the life that their dad wanted them. That, oh, you don't make any money doing that. Become a this. Try that, come work for me at the office, whatever it is. Now they're 50 years old. That's where a midlife crisis comes in, because you realize you're halfway through this thing and you don't know what is going on, because you don't even know what you want anymore. So it's like you are living for someone else. They could be dead, they could be long gone, and you have created a life that is patterned after what they wanted. So no matter how famous you are, how rich you are, that's why very famous people, they still kill themselves. You still see them committing suicide. If money and fame and looks did it, then you'd never see, a good-looking model who's rich kill themselves, and you see that happen, because you still have your issues that you're programmed with. This outer world stuff is not going to fix it. Never will, never has, for anybody in humanity ever. And so you would think we would realize it never works. It has never worked. I'm going to try something else. We just keep doing it. So you just bring, again, some awareness to this. Bring some awareness to what is really happening here. That's really all it takes.
I kind of think that fame, fortune, and notoriety actually like the fuel under your flaws, and it becomes even more difficult to deal with, because you're in the public eye and you have this persona to maintain, and basically any sign of weakness or changes in that persona, your entire public life and public image can completely fall apart. So the pressure is even more, So
Exactly.
I totally get that. So because today we have a situation where we have idol worship. We have people who worship celebrities, and we think that they're the best thing since sliced bread. And one of my mates, he said to me, you should never meet your idols, because you will always be disappointed. And what you said just now about the celebrities thinking that they're not good enough is a confirmation as to why you shouldn't actually meet your idols, because you will be thoroughly disappointed, because they're humans just like you, and they battle with the same things, just at different levels, right? So it is more stress, you know?
But sometimes meeting your idols is good though, because you're seeing, uh, especially if they're in control of they may have issues, but they've obviously got an amount of control over other parts of their life. So if you can go into a situation and take the good lessons and use them, that's fine. It's when, yeah, you're exactly right. When we worship these people for nothing, we worship the Kardashians for what are they doing? Nothing, making sex tapes, and it's like literally nothing. These people are famous for nothing anymore. That is what's happening. People are famous. They're Instagram famous. They're TikTok famous. They're, you see things like I do a lot of videos, just real quick, like, minute videos, giving people real quick tips. So when we post on different platforms, sometimes, I'll see on TikTok, it's just really huge people eating huge amounts of food. It's people ranting and raving and screaming about some stupid topic. It is the bottom of the barrel, but it's starting to become normal because that's what, if all you see is one thing, that is very scary because it starts to, it's confirmation bias. Oh, that's the way it is. I knew it was like that. That pulls you into it. Politics, especially. You're only looking at certain political channels. You're only seeing one side of the story. So everything that happens outside of that, you're able to say, I was right. It's confirmation bias. It's a scary thing. We are so easily controlled because all it is, it's like, when you take somebody who is content with, all we really want is in the end to be happy. Nobody gets it though, because if they think, like I've had people say, I want to be rich. Okay. And I've had both sides of that. Okay. It doesn't make you any happier. I thought it would. It doesn't. Right. But if I said it to you, okay, somebody says, I want $1 billion. So not even a million anymore. They want $1 billion with a B. So it's like, okay, I'm going to give you $1 billion in cash, but I'm going to drop you and that billion on a deserted island. You're never going to be found again, but you're going to have that money. Do you still want it? Who's going to say yes? No, right? I want a dream wedding in Maui and I want to marry this model who's gorgeous. Okay, you're going to get that dream wedding. You're going to get this girl. It's going to be amazing. You're going to be more miserable than you've ever met. She is going to treat you like a king. The house is going to be immaculate. You're going to have the best every night, the best food, the best sex, whatever. But you are going to be miserable. Do you still want this? No. The reason you think, and this is big, if you can get this out there, we think this thing is going to give me something, which is happiness. The car is going to make me happy because people are going to look at me and they're going to think I'm rich. The good-looking girl is going to make me happy because everyone's got, again, the money because I can take care of my family. But you're putting a middleman in there. You're putting in something between you and happiness. You're thinking, I got to have this in order for it to happen. And people say to me, they go, what do you mean about this energy? Because this energy flow is in us all the time. And so I tell people, think about maybe you have a girlfriend, okay? You've been dating for a couple of years. The girl breaks up with you. So now it's been 2 weeks. You can't get out of bed. You're depressed. You have a full beard. You haven't shaved. You look like crap. You haven't showered. You smell like crap. You have pizza crusts everywhere. The house is a mess. You just can't move. You have no energy. You are depressed. The phone rings. The girlfriend's on the phone. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I am so sorry. I love you so much. Can I come see you? What is going to happen in this next millisecond? You are going to be so filled with some energy that just appears in you. You're going to clean that house. You're going to pick up those pizza crusts, jump in the shower. You're going to shave. You're going to get ready for this girl to come over. A minute ago, you couldn't even get out of bed. Where did the energy come from? It's showing you that it's inside. It's always there. But you've put like a spigot in there and you put a stopper and you think you're not worthy. I'm only worthy of feeling this when I do something. When I get that first kiss, when I buy that new car, when I do something, then I'm worthy of this energy. And the energy's there all the time. All you've got to do is go in to get it and stop looking for things out there. And again, that's your entire life. Everybody's entire life from birth to death is a tunnel. It's like a rat in a tube. You come in one side and go out the other, and you never realize you're in the tube. So, little tiny, anything you can do watching this, what we've talked about, make up your own thing, anything to stay present, anything to pull yourself into the moment, anything, come back and watch this again. Whatever you have to do, go watch some podcast episodes here again. Whatever you need to do to bring you into the now, it's going to change your life. It's free. It's something you can do right now. You can do it at home. You can do it no matter how much money you make, what color you are, what you weigh, what your sex is. None of that matters. It really doesn't. They control us by fighting us, hitting us against each other. Man versus woman, gay, straight, black, white. It's always something, because it's much easier to control people if you're dividing them against each other, because, they don't want you looking up to where they are and figure out what's going on up there. So they're giving you little tiny pleasures, little things you're fighting over, TV shows and movies. And people go crazy over Marvel movies. I get it. They're great. I've seen many of them, but my whole life isn't that. I mean, you see people, that is their life. That's all they do. They are being controlled by one tiny little thing. That's happening. It's like puppet strings. It's happening all the time. Every time you do anything that we're talking about today, you're cutting a string. And it is a process that is compounding. Never think you're not doing enough, because at one point, you're going to cut all those strings. It might take a while, but everything you do pushes you further ahead. It's never a losing battle to do this. It's never a losing battle to meditate. It's never a losing battle to become aware of the voice, because every time you do it, you get stronger. You get stronger spiritually and definitely mentally.
Awesome. So we can take a very, very short, quick break here to say, if this conversation is already stirring something within you, take 5 seconds right now to share this episode with someone you care about. Let's raise the collective consciousness together. So, Brett, how can we use visualization or mental rehearsal like elite athletes do to create quantum level results in our lives?
Well, I do a lot of sports teams, and I've done the Cleveland Browns and the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, and I've done motivational speaking. I've done my entertainment show, but I've also worked with sports psychologists, and a sports psychologist goes in and they teach the team to play the game in their mind. And people on the outside, everyday normal people who don't even know this is a thing, are blown away when you say they're sitting in a room and they're visualizing the race. They're playing the game. Their runners especially do this. They run the race in their mind, because the thing people need to grasp here is your mind, as incredible as it is, does not know the difference between doing it or thinking about doing it. Now think about that. So it's huge. When you think about doing something, every endorphin fires, all the synapses in your brain wire up exactly like they do if you're doing it. So think about it. Your body can't tell the difference. It's like a placebo effect. When half the people get the pill that cures them, half the people get a sugar pill, but a lot of the people who are getting the sugar pill are getting the cure somehow because they believe it. They believe that they're getting it. They don't realize that they're on this placebo. And that alone, I mean, if you do that, if you realize I don't need, I can look at things differently. There is this placebo effect. They did a test once where in a college campus, they took 30 students, 3 groups of 30, so 90 altogether. They took a group of students and they let them, for an hour a day, they went to the basketball court and they played basketball. They just shot hoops and everything. All these people were tested before. So all 90 kids were tested. 30 of them every day for an hour were on the court playing. 30 of them were in a classroom visualizing playing, making the shots, having the shots go in, feeling it. And 30 of them were doing nothing. They weren't thinking about it or playing. They were just going about their day. They were tested again. And this is Harvard or Stanford. This is a big test. They were tested again at the end of 3 months. The group that went on the court every day improved by 37%. The group that didn't do anything didn't improve at all. But the group that only did it in their mind improved by 35%. So almost the same as the group that was actually doing it, because your body doesn't know. So if you feel it and you get in the feeling, you're winning, you're running, you're making the basket, you're getting those feelings. That visualization is powerful. It's like The first thing in the morning, the last thing at night, those are the two times when we are closest to, and I hate the word subconscious because when you're born, you have open mind. It's open. It's just wide open mind. You're a little kid, everything, when you're happy, you're laughing, when you're sad, you're crying. You start creating this other version of yourself, likes and dislikes, and boys do this and girls do that, and blah, 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 blah. You create a division in there. So your subconscious is really this fake you, this ego, this programming. But the only time you're close to that, the ability to get in there and change it, is first thing in the morning, last thing at night, because it's right before sleep or right after sleep, because you're in this gray area where you're kind of between those two worlds. So visualization, first thing, meditation, first thing in the morning, those are powerful because it allows you to sit in kind of a state between, like I said, you're between awake and asleep, and you're visualizing, not just what you want, because that'll work, but why not try to go farther than that? If it's all about what we want, the things that we want, you are really doing yourself a disservice because you're going to get those things and then it's not going to do anything. It's not going to make you happy. It's not, and you're going to get to the next thing and it's just going to keep going. If you look in and you start working on yourself, you're going to realize happiness is an inner thing. You become happier. Life changes without you doing anything. And the thing that is amazing is if you want to help your family and your friends, this is how you do it. You don't do it by trying to make them change because that never works. That's why we have wars, right? That's why we have battles going on. And it's not the person who's right or the person who is spiritual who's going to win that. It's the person who has more missiles and bigger bombs and a bigger army. That's what's going to happen. If you try to force change on somebody, they're going to fight you. They're not going to want to do it. It's never going to work. But if you do this, you work on yourself, you start to get happiness. You start to get this inner voice that's not narrating your life and treating you like crap. You start to become confident. You start to get belief. There's a change in you. And the people around you will see it because you'll start to get that glow. You'll start to get that magnetism. You'll start to get that, I'm no longer being controlled by what other people think, what other people do, what other people want. That is such an amazing thing that other people get inspired. Your kids, your wife, your whoever. You don't have to tell them to do something. You do it. And then they'll see that you've done it and they'll see how your life has changed. You'll inspire people to do it. That's how we do it. That's how we change the world. It's like I changed, you see me change, and you change, your kid gets inspired, they change, their friend. And one by one by one, we start making this thing that just grows. We change the world that way. I really believe that. Not by fighting with each other and trying to force our wants and desires. That's just showing we're not okay. Because the only reason you're trying to get people to do the things you want is because you think that thing's going to make you happy. Instead of making yourself happy first. If you were happy, you'd never be fighting that. You know, if you were a president of a country and you were happy, you'd never be sending missiles off somewhere unless you were defending yourself in those situations. But if you're fighting wars because you're trying to push your ideals and your idea on other people, it's because you're miserable. You're not happy. You're definitely not confident. Somebody who constantly has to tell you how great they are or how wonderful, they are, that's somebody with severe self-confidence issues. So all of these things will come to you automatically with no work if you start from the very beginning and just start getting control of your awareness. What's going on in my mind? What's happening out there? And don't look at anybody else. That's the other crazy thing in life. It's like, no matter how great our life is, we'll go, oh, it's not like his. I want his. And as soon as you compare yourself, it's over. Because really, there's no comparison. There shouldn't be, because no two people have ever been the same. You'd have to have two people that have had the same life. And I'm talking about every experience exactly the same. That's how you'd have to be to compete, really compete. If I had my life and you had your life, we can both go for the same thing, but we're not really on level playing field because you have strengths that I don't have and I have strengths that you don't have. So if you look at yourself that way, you're an individual. You have your powers, you have things you're not as good at, but you work on yourself. Don't look next to you. You don't worry about what they're doing. You just focus on you. And I don't mean in a greedy, like I'm going to take all the money. I'm worried about myself, but you look at yourself for happiness, giving yourself confidence, giving yourself courage. It's like when somebody says, I want $1 million. It's like all the things that we think matter are inside. It's like houses, cars, jewelry, money. Those are outer things. Inner things are the things nobody pays attention to, but that's happiness, confidence, integrity, passion. Those are inner things. Those are the things that matter. It's like, but you can't get them out there. If I say, go buy me a pound of confidence, right? Where are you going to get that from? It's not out there. Nobody can give it to you. You can't buy it. You can't steal it. You're never going to get it out there. You grant it to yourself when you start looking in. And when you do that, everything changes because you realize I am in control. And for a lot of people, it's going to be for the first time. The first time in your entire life, you are now in control of your life, and it's liberation. I mean, it's really freedom.
Okay, so you say healing and success begin in the mind. What role does emotional energy play in changing physical reality?
Well, emotional energy is controlling everything because, like I mentioned earlier, if an experience happens and we don't like it, what we do is we take the experience, and I'm not just talking about what happened. So, like a snake, for instance, I saw a snake and now I'm afraid of snakes. I also take that feeling of being afraid, that feeling of being uncomfortable, I'm sweating, whatever that is, it's attached. It's an energy pattern. Like these things happen. Something happens in the outer world, it comes through you. It's meant to go through. You experience it and it's gone. What's happening is something happens that you don't like. You're not going to let it through. You're going to suppress it. And so what happens is you've suppressed not only the thought, but the emotional pattern. They're connected to each other. It's a thought pattern. It's also an emotional pattern. They're connected to each other. So that is why when something reminds you of it, it comes back up. But so does the feeling. Like I said, when the voice says, remember when you peed your pants in the 3rd grade, you get embarrassed. You get flushed. You feel the way you felt then because you didn't let it pass. That emotional energy is controlling you because every time it comes up, it's trying to get out. You push it back down. Comes up, push it back down. And like I said, that's only one issue I'm talking about, snakes. There is a million issues most people have in their life. They like this, they don't like that. They're afraid of this. They don't like people who do that. So all of these things, and anytime anything comes close to any of them, comes up. And so when you start to realize, I'm not the thought, I'm not the feeling, I'm the awareness, I'm the consciousness, it can happen. You don't have to stop it. You take as much of it as you can. You just sit there and let it happen. And like I said, you're not going to get rid of it the first time, but you're facing it for maybe the first time since it happened. And I know for a lot of people, this could have been 30 years ago, 50 years ago. My dad was afraid of snakes. He was 50 years old and deathly afraid of snakes because of when he was a kid. We caught him once, found him out in the yard. He had killed a gardener snake with a shovel. He was frozen. His hands were bright red because he was gripping the shovel so tight. He couldn't move. That is when something is really controlling you. That's one thing, like I said, but we do it with everything. There are moments that we really like. So it's not just the moments you hate, the moments that make you uncomfortable. You've also stored the moments you really like the first kiss. You saw a sunset somewhere, it blew you away, right? You went to a restaurant and it was the best food ever, the best ambiance ever. You had the best waiter. And now you decide you're going to take all your friends to that restaurant to see for themselves. It's not a good idea because it's never going to be the same. If you buy the house on the corner where you saw that sunset because you want to experience that again, it's like, what is it? Diminishing returns. Every time it happens, it's a little less, a little less, a little less. So in your life, you have maybe 10 peak experiences. How many of these negative, emotionally charged patterns do you have? 10,000 or more. I mean, it's literally almost everything. You have an opinion about everything. I mean, I've had people building houses and things, and they'll say, my wife's trying to decide which color white to use in the kitchen. Which color white? There are 200 shades of white, and she can't decide. Okay, that's a problem. And there are some people that are so literally everything becomes anxiety and stress. Those are self-created things most of the time. Like you are doing it to yourself because the situation happens and it's over. And now it's a month later or 2 years later, you're thinking about something that reminds you of it. You're feeling it all over again. Your body doesn't know the difference. So you're feeling it all over again. You're literally living the moment again and again. And again, you could kill somebody and be out of prison in 40 years. You could do this to yourself and never get out of prison because you never let yourself off the hook. You will be beating yourself up until you die over stuff you did when you were 15 years old, 20 years old, because you never let yourself off the hook. It comes up, you push it down. Those are red flags. Those are gifts. Those are something you want to look at. Those aren't red flags in a bad way. When that comes up, it's like, welcome. You got to greet that with like, oh, welcome back. Been waiting for you. Okay. And you kind of feel it for a second and you let it go. And back real quick on visualization. If you feel it, because it's important, they talk about it a lot in the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is a real thing for the fact that if you feel it and you believe it, you can manifest these things. But everyone's bastardized this to mean, I want a Ferrari. So I'm going to sit on the sofa and I'm going to think about a Ferrari and I'm going to pray for a Ferrari and then it's going to be in the driveway. That's not how it works. It's like you forget the action step, the step where you move towards the thing, where you feel it. Okay. So if you're going to visualize, if you're going to take that time to do it, you don't just picture it in your mind. You want to feel what it would feel like. Like people say to me, okay, what do you want? I want $1 million, they'll say. It's like, okay, when you visualize, see yourself standing in front of your mansion, you've got, money bags, you've got a convertible car filled with money, whatever it is that makes you see that. And then you start to feel it. Now, not like I'm excited because I'm rich. It starts to become, how would you feel if that was you? You wouldn't have to worry about bills anymore, so that you'd feel confident. You could take care of your family. You could set up the next generation of your family. You'd feel good about that. Those are what you want to feel, not, oh, I've got money, because that's, again, empty. But the feelings that you're going to have when you're that person, that's what happens. And like magic, if you start thinking like the person you want to be, if you start talking like the person you want to be, you will start to become that person. Like I used to do that all the time. When I would go out and work a cruise ship, I could be a different person. It's hard to do in your hometown. It's hard to do with your family, people that are used to you. But if you go on vacation or you go somewhere where you're kind of out of your element, act like the person you want to be, at least as much as you can, because you'll not only will you start to believe it, you'll start to feel it. Other people will believe it and feed their energy back to you. You'll start to create this self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's not, people always say fake it till you make it. And they think that means, I want to be rich. So I'm going to get a fake Rolex and I'm going to rent a Mercedes and I'm going to make you think that I'm rich until I get rich. That's not what it means. It means fake it for yourself until you actually get it, which is feel it, not rent a Mercedes or buy a Rolex that's not real. It's feel like you would feel if you were that person. If you were in the best relationship you've ever had, how would you feel? You wouldn't be looking for anyone else. You'd never want to cheat on your partner. How would you feel in that situation? So you go to bed like that. You wake up like that. Visualize that. When you go to sleep at night, whatever you're thinking at the end of the night is what is going to be on your mind all night long. And it is. So if you go to bed thinking about all the things that happened today that were horrible and all the things you're worried about tomorrow, when you wake up tomorrow, it's not tomorrow. It is really yesterday, because you've carried yesterday into the next day, because you've made it. So all night long, you are marinating on those thoughts. So instead of that, when you're getting sleepy and you're ready to go to sleep, put yourself in I call it an anchor image, but put yourself in the image of whatever it is that you want, the situation you want to be in, and go to sleep like that. How would I feel if I had that? I could go on trips. I could do this. I could help my parents. And go to sleep that way. Then for the next 5-8 hours, whatever, your mind's going to be working on the right problem. It's going to be working on the things you want it to, instead of torturing you with nightmares and all kinds of stuff that you're creating. I mean, you're creating that. And what's amazing is your mind is so spectacular that a lot of times in your dreams, your mind will create something that's almost like a symbol. Like I've had people say, I had a guy once who could not stay in a relationship with a woman. A very wealthy guy, very good looking guy, funny guy. I mean, really, you would think this guy would be beating women off with a stick. And he was, but he couldn't stay in a relationship because he would always break up, never more than a couple of months. He could not stay in a committed relationship. So he started doing this. He started doing these exercises. He started naming the voice. He started doing the visualization. He called me a couple of weeks later and he said, I had this breakthrough. So what happened? He said, I was meditating and all of a sudden I got this vision, this flash in my mind that said to me, your mother didn't leave you because you weren't good enough. And he said, my mother died when I was 12 years old. She died in a boating accident or something. Now, his 12-year-old psyche, he was suffering. I mean, his mother just died, the most important woman in his life. So his psyche sees this happening and then decides for him, okay, this isn't good. So from now on, I'm not going to let a woman get close enough to you to hurt you. Now, he didn't make this decision logically. He didn't make it at all. The programming kind of made it. And now he's running on a program. He's running in a pattern. He's running on something. He's breaking up with these women. He's getting a feeling he should do it, but no reason why he should do it. He thought at 12 years old, my mother died. My mother left me. She must have left me because I wasn't good enough, because it was my fault, whatever. When he saw that at 50 years old, he saw that pattern appear, lost all its power. It completely left. He's married now. He's been married for 12 years or something, because what he thought was keeping him locked up was actually the thing that let him go. It's like you're in a prison your whole life and you've got the key in your pocket, but you never looked in there. You're yelling and screaming and banging on the bars, but you've got the key inside with you. It's not out there. So it's like, you got to do that. You've got to let yourself out, because this is mostly, and again, don't think I'm saying if you had trauma, I'm not downplaying it, but I'm saying there comes a point at some point when you have to stand up, be brave. You have to stand up and say, I'm taking control of this. I didn't start this, but I'm going to finish this. It's going to end now. And so you just make that, a lot of times, like I said, you're thinking these things, you're thinking positive things in your head. It's changing. Most of the time we're thinking, I'm not, oh God, I hate my life. I'm not good enough. I don't know why I'm doing this. That's what's going on all day long. If you start getting conscious, now the voice says, oh, I don't want to do this. You can say, I'm going to do this. You can make a choice to do that, because it's just a thought. You can, as the consciousness, go, I am going to do this. Okay. I'm not good enough. Hey, I'm pretty damn good. It sounds dumb, but you are taking what you programmed yourself with all your life and you're counter-programming it. You're counter-programming it. Now, all of a sudden, that tape that's running in your mind, like you're putting breaks in it. You're putting sections up in it where you're breaking the tape up. And so the more you do that, the easier it becomes to step out of this, whatever you call it, the matrix, this reality you've created, and step into true reality. And when you do that, you can get almost whatever you want, because it no longer is, you're not getting it anymore because you think it's what you need to be happy. You're getting it because it's something that you believe in, that you feel passionate about it. You're doing something that you feel like you're doing this podcast, right? Because you want to help people. So you're passionate about it. Those things now fuel your life. Most people don't even know what their passion is. You ask the normal person, what is your passion? And they will say, oh, I haven't really thought about it. Or, oh, it's golf, because I like to golf. Okay, if you're a golf pro, or you want to be a golf pro and you want to live golf, that could be your passion. If you're a part-time golfer and you do it as a hobby, that's not your passion. Your passion is something that you haven't found yet. You could be 60 years old and not found it, because somebody else may have programmed you to do certain things. So now it's like, what is my passion? What do I want? I don't care how old you are. If you realize that before your deathbed, you've won this game of life, because you have done what most people can't do. It's get out of this thing and go, oh my God, doesn't matter how much time you have left. You've leveled up. That is a level up that most few people get. And so if you believe in reincarnation or energy that comes back or whatever that is, you've leveled yourself up. You've worked off karma. You are in a position that very few people have ever got in. So that's what life's about. It's like you're down here. It's like it's a playground, but it's also a testing ground. You're trying things. You're making the world better. You're helping people. It's not about who has the most money. The person with the most toys wins. That's ridiculous. The person with the most toys very often is the most miserable person. That's not a life. That's, to be rich and could buy anything you want, but to be miserable, that's not it. It's to just be happy. Then you'll get the things that you think right now you want, and they won't take hardly any effort at all, because right now you're struggling for them. I want this. Then when you feel I want something, that's a powerful feeling. But it's also saying I don't have it. I don't have it. I want it. I need it. I don't have it. And so as soon as it starts to become, okay, I'm feeling like the person I want to be, I'm getting into that feeling. Now you're feeling like you have it. You're living from a place, they call it living in the end. When you go to bed at night, live in the end. Live in the position you want to be in when you get what you want. And go to sleep that way. You're feeling it, and you're doing that until it actually happens. And it will happen. I mean, it definitely, I promise you, it will happen if you do this consistently.
Okay, so you've openly talked about overcoming addiction, anxiety, and substance abuse. What was your first step toward breaking the cycle, and what was the hardest?
Well, the first thing was my entire life, I thought, okay, I want to be rich. And if I'm rich, I'll be happy. So that was my entire focus. And I'm serious from the time I was very little. In America, did you know the TV show Dallas? Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
Okay. That show started when I was 4 years old. Okay. It ran until I was in high school. I was like not a senior, maybe a junior in high school. Now think about that. 4 years old till you're 16 years old. I watched that show with my mom first, and then she stopped watching it. I watched that show my entire life. If it was it's Friday night, I'm going out, I was recording it. Right? I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. These people, they have everything they want. And like J.R. Ewing, he always conned everybody. He was always smiling. He had all the money. He had all the women. So I thought I'm going to be like him. And I'm 4 years old. That shows you what programming is. I want to be like this guy. He has everything he wants. So I started, it's all about that. I go to the store and I would buy, you know how they had like the fake bills? My dad would say, what kind of idiot spends real money to buy fake money? But, it's like I was just trying to do anything I could to get that feeling. When I got that, I finally thought I had made it, and I got the house and I got the sports car. I realized how empty it was. And at that point, I'm 21 years old. I never really drank before. Even though I was 21, I never really drank early or anything. And I started drinking, and I started smoking, and I started popping pain pills. And I was doing it because I was so blown away that what I thought was going to make me happy, the thing I went for my entire life, I now had, and I wasn't happy. It was like shock. Like, how could this be happening? So I started drinking, started smoking, started popping pills, trying to numb it, trying to figure out, okay, I am at square one again. So facing those things first, then I got cancer. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was on stage, took me to the hospital. I had my hemoglobin level was like 3, and a man is supposed to be 20, 18. They were like, how are you even walking, with this? I had no idea I had it. They ran a bunch of tests, and they said, well, this could be several things. And they named some things, and they mentioned lymphoma. So I went home and I looked at it, and I had every single symptom. I had everything, the night sweat. I had everything they listed. So I knew I had it. And when the fear hit me, oh my God, I've got cancer. Right? Something though behind that voice, the real you, that's the overseer of this, stepped in and just said, this is mindset. And I really realized it really is. It's the way I'm looking at these things. Okay. So I started going into it with, I don't care where they put me, where they say I'm, stage 2, stage 4, whatever. I'm not going to let that deter me. I'm not going to let that change. I was 2, I think, at the time. But I went to, I did the chemo, I did all of that. But I didn't go into it with the mindset of poor me. Why did this happen to me? Oh, my karma. Or like, oh my God, I'm going to die. This is going to be over. I went into it with the right mindset. I haven't had a drink in 12 years, something like that. I haven't had a cigarette in 12 years, 15 years. I slowly, when I started doing more and more meditation, more and more of these things in my life, because remember, 20 years ago, when I was 21, I wasn't talking to you about mindset. I was on stage working with celebrities and doing big shows, and I was all about myself, and that's what I was doing. But that voice, okay, kicked in, and I remembered the book, and I got The Magic of Believing back out, and I started looking into that, and that is what really started, oh, there is another path here, and it's not money, obviously not money. So one by one, the things went away. And I'll tell you, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to go into rehab. Okay. I was drinking a bottle of vodka a day for a while, for a couple of years. I mean, I was hiding bottles everywhere. I was smoking. I went from no smoking to 2 packs of cigarettes a day very quickly. Okay. Popping 20 Vicodin in a day just for the euphoria. And then, of course, it's taking more. But as soon as I realized it was a mindset issue, I faced every one of those things with mindset, and I beat every one of them because this isn't you. Like, again, you're the consciousness. This body is like a meat suit. It's like a car. You're the driver. This is the car. You want to take care of your car, but you're not the car. Yeah, you are the consciousness. So these things are happening, but they're happening not to you. They're happening, and you are witnessing it. You're experiencing it, but it's not you that it's happening. So when I kind of came to that, I realized no matter what happens, I'll be okay. If you believe, which I do, that we're energy, that this goes on, the body is just, we're put in this thing. It's like being in a spacesuit down here. But when it's over, your consciousness never goes, because energy, like they say, cannot be created or destroyed. It is there forever. That consciousness expands again when it's out of this body. And I really believe that. So I thought, I'm not afraid really of anything. And I'm not. I used to be a little kid afraid of death. Every night I would say prayers for an hour, just thinking of all the things I had to, I was so deathly afraid of it. When you lose that, it's liberation, because you no longer are locked in that cage of, oh, I'm going to die someday. Oh, yes, I am. I don't know when it's going to be, and it's going to happen, and it's inevitable. Like, this has been tested before, but nobody's ever made it through without dying at some point, because it's going to happen. If you face it, and it shouldn't be a scary thing. It's the way it is. Again, you face reality. If most people would face reality like that, it would expand your consciousness, because it's something really huge to know that you're not confined by, if you're sick, for instance, if you have a terminal illness. I've had that happen with people too, that have said, I have terminal cancer. I'm a single mother. This woman was 40 years old. She had 5 kids. She had terminal cancer that had spread all over her body. She saw me on television. I was doing an event in Ohio, Cleveland. She came to the show. She said, I saw you on TV and I knew you could help me. And she told me the story. And what I told her that helped was what I just said. You are not sick. You're a car. There's a driver and there's the car. The car may be in bad shape. The car may need some work. The car engine may be in bad shape, but you're not the car. At some point, this car may stop, but you're just going to get out of it and get into another car. When she took that in, now I just heard from her. This was 4 years ago. She's still alive. Now she still has the cancer, but she is living with cancer instead of dying from cancer. She's learned to live with it. She's like, if I just get my last kid through high school, I'll be happy. It's her motivation, but it's not from fear. She's not coming from a place of fear. She's coming from a place of gratitude. I'm being kept around. I'm allowed to live another day. I'm experiencing this. So just that shift from, oh, poor me, I'm dying, to, I'm sick. The body is sick, but I am still living this incredible experience every moment I can. It's not much. It's like it happens between your ears. It's that tiny little bit of real estate, but flipping that switch for her changed everything. And I've had that happen with several people, because they're looking at things, oh, it's hopeless. And when they realize there's any amount of hope at all, it starts to fire up that belief. And it's not belief, I'm going to cure myself. If you go into it, hey, if you believe that and you feel it and you try, that's one thing. But it's very hard for a lot of people. I had a guy tell me once, a short guy, well, can I be a basketball star if I think I can be? I said, well, can you really think that you can be that? Well, no, of course not. You're like 5'2". You're never going to trick your mind into thinking you're going to be the next LeBron James. That's not going to work, because the belief's never going to carry you through. If you can believe that you're going to be healed, it's very possible that you will do something like the placebo effect. You will do something in you that's somehow sustaining her. It's not getting rid of the cancer, but it is arresting it enough to allow her to live her life relatively pain-free. So she's doing something with just that little bit of belief. So again, anything you can do, any time of the day, any day of the week, any week of the month, is going to change you. It's never like a one-shot deal. In other words, you do it, it counts. It's like drop a pebble into the bucket. Every time you do it, you're building something over here. So you never think it's meaningless. You just keep doing it. And no matter how little these things look over time, you're building this huge wall.
Okay, so how do we, because you talked about having everything at one point in time and you thought that material things would give you happiness. So how do we balance desire with detachment, wanting more, but not being consumed by it?
Well, if you, the Buddha said, what is it? The first rule of life is suffering, or all life is suffering. All life is suffering. Okay. Now, most people hear that and they go, oh, that's so negative. That's horrible. All life is suffering. But the second part of that, which is the part no one ever says, everyone says, oh, life is suffering. And Buddha did say all life is suffering. But the second part of that is that desire, okay, desire is the reason. In other words, desire is creating the suffering because you've decided what you want versus what you don't want versus what you want to happen. So you've created that. So desire of what you want, desire is, and I don't mean desire, the way he was saying it is not like desire as in sexual desire. It's desire as in, I want this. I feel this. I need this so bad. Oh God, I need to have, like a kid. I got to have this video game. I just got to have it so bad. You're throwing a tantrum. Your whole life is consumed with that. Desire, when you start to pull yourself away from desire and let things happen, and okay, it's going to happen this way or that way. And either way, I'll deal with it. Now, if you want it a different way, it happens and you can deal with it. But if you go into it fighting it and trying to force it to be a certain way, that's not the way to do it. You have to let it happen the way it's happening. It's reality happening in front of you. If you don't like it, then you deal with it. But you don't go into it fighting it first, because you're never going to win that way, because then you've got a set idea. So desire is suffering. That is the reason we suffer. Desire. It's, I want this. I don't want that. We do it with everything. If you start to just learn to be grateful, I mean, it sounds so trite, but gratitude is like a superpower, because what starts to happen is when you start to feel grateful, that feeling is a vibration. It's a frequency. Everything is. These negative thoughts are, positive thoughts are. This frequency, if you're always in a negative mood and you're always down and you're always upset, it's like, I like to call them energy vampires. That's somebody that you walk up to and they say, oh, how are you? And you say, oh, I'm okay. How are you? I'm great. How are you? Oh, and then they tell you some long story about why their life is horrible. And when they're done, you are drained. You want to go to bed because they've sucked all your energy out. Those really are energy vampires. It's like they've used all theirs. They're going to take yours. So this is an important thing. You got to protect this. This is better than gold, this energy, because you've got a finite amount of it every day and you recharge overnight. And then in the morning, if you give it all away, if somebody's stealing it from you, you have to start taking responsibility for you, realizing, okay, I'm going to take these steps. I'm going to start going in. I'm going to start letting things unfold instead of, I want this to happen. Okay. It's going to happen. And then you decide what you're going to do. Like I said, if it's some situation where people say, well, does that mean I can't pick it or I can't go out and demonstrate? Of course not. You can do that. But you can't do it from a position of anger. And if you're allowing the emotion, the voice to control this situation, you're not coming from the right place. If you go out and you're doing it for, to help people or to make things better, and you're coming from even if the enemy, you look at the enemy like, if I grew up like them, I would be like them. If you look at them like that, because you have to think they were brought up with certain parents in certain part of the world, in certain, customs. They think a certain way. They think a certain way politically. They think a certain way, whatever. So if you look at enemy's not the right word. If the person that's opposing you is, you look at them like that, you have sympathy. It's no longer, there's reasons. I don't know what they are, but there's definitely reasons that you're like that you believe that, and it has nothing to do with me. So again, that allows you to live without that person having control over you. Because the way it is now, we react. It's like we wait for something to happen or somebody to do something, and then we react to it. We're always in a reactive state instead of proactive, instead of trying to, and again, that doesn't mean trying to twist things to be the way you want them. It's like accept them. And then if it's not the way you want, or if it's something you believe in, Go change it. Go fight for it. But don't do it from a place of, I need this thing to make me happy, or that is always going to be a losing battle. And these things that you do, they don't have to consume you at the beginning. People think, oh, it's so daunting. Because I tell people you have 50,000 thoughts a day. 50,000. So if I say you got to start watching your thoughts, most people go, screw you, because it's impossible. But it's like 50,000 thoughts. That's everything. That's the trees green, the lines on the road. That's everything. Thoughts that have emotion, that's a much smaller amount. Out of the 50,000, that's maybe 600, 500. Those are things like you're passionate about that upset you or make you happy or whatever. Those things, those are the things you want to look at when you're getting a feeling. Not just you're driving down the road and all the white lines are going by. You don't think about that. It just goes by. Now, if you were somebody who painted white lines for a living and then they were maybe a little crooked, you would see every white line because that's your mindset. You're looking for that. You're seeing that. That's all you see. So as soon as you pull back, you don't just, it's hard to say don't desire things, but desire, it's not like I want, I'm making this, I'm doing, desire is like, I have to have this. It's such a yearning that I'm blocking myself from getting it because the feeling I'm putting out is I don't have this and I want it.
Okay, so you've built a multi-million-dollar brand, beat cancer, and helped millions. What's something you still wrestle with today on your spiritual path?
The last thing that I have worked on. Now, when I started this, I weighed 340 pounds. So the last thing, the reason I never really did anything about it, it never really was a problem. I always felt good. I could get up. I could travel around the world. I fit in the seat in the airplane. I was okay. So, but as I got older, I started to realize, you know what? It's really hard to get up in the morning. I'm starting to feel like, I feel like crap. So, and then I started to think, wow, my entire life, I faced everything and I've beaten it. This thing I've never really looked at, but it's been a big part of my life. So as I'm sitting here today, I weigh 245-ish, but I did it the right way. I'm doing it the right way, which is I do it every day. I don't go on some crazy diet, but I did become a vegetarian. Now I'm a guy who used to love hamburgers and steaks and pepperoni and all. The fact that I'm almost a vegan. I don't eat eggs. I don't drink milk. I don't eat butter. I will eat like a sandwich that happens to have butter in the bread maybe sometime, but I'm very close to vegan for the fact that I won't eat any kind of, I won't eat scrambled eggs, for instance, or drink a glass of milk. I'm from the Midwest, right? And I'm a boy who grew up with all of that stuff. So if you would have told me 10 years ago, oh, you're going to be a vegetarian, I would have laughed and laughed and laughed because it wouldn't be possible. It happened automatically. It happened not only for health reasons, but it started to become an animal thing. And it started to become the more you meditate, the more you connect to everything. You connect to source, you connect to whatever you believe in, whether it's God, it's the universe, it's whatever that energy is. You're connecting to something so bigger than you that these things that you confronted all your life work themselves out in the background. Like I just became a vegetarian. I have not had a bite of meat since then. Not the desire. Same thing with the smoking, the drinking. I never went through any kind of withdrawal. Same thing with the pills. Taking 20 Vicodin every day for a year and a half. I went to a pharmacy once and the pharmacist said, I can't fill this prescription. You've taken 5,000 Vicodin in the last 6 months or something. I had 3 different doctors prescribing Vicodin. And he's like, you're going to die. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill your liver. I was completely oblivious. Like, well, my doctors are giving it to me, so it must be okay. I went home. I said, how long does it take to go through this? And he's like, oh, you can't do it. You have to go to rehab. I just set my mindset and I did it. But I thought I'm going to have to fight this withdrawal. I had very little withdrawal symptoms because I have to do this. I'm going to, most people are so afraid of doing something and they're so afraid of I'm going to quit smoking. And then I'm so afraid of the withdrawals. I'm so nervous. That you just start doing it because you go right back into the pattern. But as soon as you get into the mindset of, I'm changing my life. I'm making this better. My consciousness is growing. You can change everything about yourself. Again, you can change other people when they see you, but it's you. You're going to change your world. And if you change your reality, that's all that matters. Because if you're looking at things and you're seeing it amazing, it doesn't matter what's going on and you're in a much better spot to help fix the situation that's going on out there if you're in a great spot inside.
Okay, so let's get you on this one then. So, what does living fully awake look like to you now in a world that's still half asleep?
Living fully awake to me is, first of all, you don't have a voice talking in your head, telling you how dumb you are or narrating your life. Think about what the voice says. Hey, look at that dog over there. Hey, that dog looks like the dog I had when I was 4. That's what it's doing. It's literally narrating your life. I got to go to the store. I got to pick up eggs. That's what it's doing. And it's doing that because it's there to kind of make you feel safe. As a kid, that's what it's doing. As an adult, what it thinks it's doing is to keep you safe. What it's actually doing is ruining your life because it is allowing you to live in a bubble that is not true. It is created by this programming, and now you're living it. So you just have to take a step outside a little bit and see that the world is so much different than you think. There's so much more going on than you think. You can be so much more than you think. You have more power than you've ever dared to think. You could change anything that you want to change, almost anything. Within reason, you can, but you have to grant that permission to yourself. And until you do, even by saying, I'm going to start this, that's granting permission. All our lives, we make these choices. I'm going to start a diet on Monday. And then it's Tuesday and you're eating a pizza. And then what happens is you have a pizza and then you go, oh, I'm going to have the whole thing. That's how it was for me. But when you at least make this decision that you're going to do this, you can slip a little bit, but you come right back. Like now, if I don't eat meat, but if I was to have, something like, I don't know, potato chips, for instance, I could have a bowl of potato chips occasionally and be okay. Before, if I was on a diet and I ate a bowl of potato chips, I would eat, oh, I've already cheated. I'm going to eat this whole bag of potato chips. So that changes. These little tiny things that I'm telling you today that sound like nothing, if you put them together, they compound on themselves. They will create for you a brand new life without you making. You have to make effort to do this, but you don't have to make effort to try to make this life happen, which is what you're doing now, which is like, I've got to do this, not do this, and try to twist this, make him be. Think about relationships. You're saying, this guy makes me happy. This girl makes me happy. But if they do anything that you don't like, now the relationship's in trouble. You're putting all of that, like, as long as you're feeling okay, then the relationship's great. But if they do something, oh, he slurps this soup now. And my uncle did that. He was mean to me. So now you're upset. He shouldn't do that. If you look at things like that, again, you're trying to twist things. If you just accept things, accept people the way they are, don't try to change people. If it's really bad, get out of the situation, and even family. If you're an adult and you're being horribly abused mentally, emotionally, whatever that is, you don't have to do that. You can get yourself out of that situation. So you have to start giving yourself some grace, giving yourself a little bit of space, and not thinking that it's over. Because we all think, oh, dreams are when I'm a kid and now I'm 50 years old. I can't dream anymore. Those dreams are waiting for you somewhere in there. They will come back to you as soon as you take control. And it only takes a little bit. You exert the tiniest bit of control and it will change everything. Like I said, there's no grand formula that you have to follow A, B, C, and D. Become aware, start meditating. Everything else will happen automatically if you just do it. Sit every day and meditate. There's really no better advice I can give. If somebody said, teach me one thing that'll change my life and I can only do one thing, I would say meditation, because it's the thing that changed my life. It's the thing that has changed clients, students, friends, family, people all around me. I've seen these amazing changes too, because it's what we've been doing from the beginning of time, but we are so caught up in stimulation and cell phones and technology and what does so-and-so think and all this crap that we miss it. And if you sit alone and connect to yourself, you unlock a world that, like I said, you just want to, there's no way to describe it until you do it. And if you get a second of that, and you'll touch that place. If you get that, it will be all the fuel you need. You'll never stop, because some people, like I said, have to have proof, which is really sad, because you're going to cheat yourself if you think you've got to see it first. Start believing it first, and start feeling it first. And I was going to say, you can make it happen. It will happen. You don't have to do anything. You just have to keep doing these little tiny things, meditate, work on, put the positive thinking is great, but the negative voice comes on, you hear it, say something positive to yourself. just in your mind. Just get used to doing that. Get used to, you're standing in line at the bank. You can say, I do this sometimes. I'm healthy, wealthy. I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise in my mind. I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And you're standing in line at the bank for 2 minutes. You do that. Okay. What will happen? I promise you, you will notice down the line something negative happens. And all of a sudden that voice starts and says, I am happy, healthy. It becomes the default almost. It's the program that now kicks in instead of, oh God, why is this happening to me? My life is so horrible. If you just do little things, you'll change it. You'll change everything.
You know, what you were talking about just now is what I call the all or nothing approach. And that is one of the things that I teach my clients not to do, because that tends to make them self-sabotage and not follow their meal plan and not do their training and stuff. And I also do a similar thing in my life where every day I tell myself that life is good. I make it so simple. I said, Todd, life is good. And the more I repeat life is good, the better my life actually becomes.
Life becomes good. Yeah, exactly.
Because every time I have a challenge, even though it is a challenge and I don't like it, I overcome it. And then I have to always go back and say, well, that taught me a lesson because life is good, you know?
Everything's a lesson. If you look at things that way, especially, everything is a lesson. It's all here to teach us one way or another. So if you look at life that way, again, it's a gift. It's an amazing experience. Everything's a miracle. I mean, think about it. Everything is a miracle. It rains and that water comes out of the sky and gives us, waters the plants. And it's crazy how this world is. Like the bees pollinate the flower. Everything is so inexplicably perfect that when you stand there and say, I want it to be the way I want it to be, it's literally you fighting against life. It's you saying, I know better. I've been here this amount of time. This world has been happening for billions and billions of years. Like I wouldn't be here if my great-great-great-grandfather didn't meet my great-great-great-grandmother. I wouldn't even be here. Like all the things that had to happen to get us here. Now we're here and it's like, I don't like this. I don't like this situation. I don't like that person. I don't like this food. I don't like this, whatever. It's like experience the miracle that you're in and just be grateful for it and think, my life's amazing. Life is amazing because it really is. And just like you said, you will start to have an amazing life. It's not a trick. It's just literally a trick of the brain, tricking your mind. But it's not a trick as in a magic trick. It's really something that will work 100% of the time if you do it. You and I talking about it isn't enough. If you're watching this and you hear us and you comprehend what we're saying and you even understand it and maybe you totally believe it, but you never do it, you might as well not even listen, because until you do it, there's nothing I can say. There's nothing he can say, nothing anyone's going to say that's going to make this happen. You have to go out and try it. And when you do that consistently, you'll make it. And again, everybody's trying to sell you retreats and go meditate in India in a cave and all this stuff. You don't have to do that. You can find somebody that you want. You have clients, right? People that trust you, that believe in you and that you're helping. Find one person. Okay. If you're out there and you're watching this, he does this, right? He can help you do this. If you don't think you can do it yourself, by all means, but one person. Don't spread yourself out. Read every self-help book. Read every version, how to meditate in 50 different ways. Stick with one thing. Go on one path. Find one person that you believe in, that you really trust. Follow them and do this. But until you do it, comprehending it isn't enough. You're never going to get past the knowledge of it. If you're a knowledge, I know a lot of people, they're knowledge collectors. They have all the books. They have every self-help book on the market, and maybe they've even read them, but they haven't put any of it into use. You might as well burn all that stuff. It hasn't done you any good. It literally is worse because you've wasted tons of time reading stuff that you've never implemented. So, find somebody you trust, find something you believe in, and especially believe in yourself a little bit, just a tiny bit. It takes a flicker. If you just, we've all got a little bit of belief left. And if you find that and cultivate it, that's everything. There's nothing else to do.
Brent, this has been a great conversation. And I had a lot more questions, but you pretty much covered a lot of questions that I had anyway. So I pretty much just let you talk. So please tell the lovely people at the Conscious Man 7 where they can find you, any services you offer, anything you want to plug, anything that's coming up that you would like us to know about. Please tell us all of that good stuff.
Well, I'm not selling anything. Like I said, I do these because really I'm just trying to help people and inform people. So if you're watching this and you're looking for somebody to take you through this, this is the man right here, because you're watching this and you're watching his podcast and he knows everything that I'm talking about and he can teach you this. I don't really do one-on-one training anymore, and I don't sell things. What I'm doing is I'm doing a service because it changed my life. So I'm not saying it changed my life, so I'm trying to sell you something to change yours. You can do this. So if you want more information about, what I do, or maybe come to a live event or something, you can go to brentwebb.com, BRENTWEBB.com. The only other thing I do, and it's free, is I do a weekly newsletter, and we have about 50,000 subscribers. It goes out every Tuesday. It's absolutely free, and there's nothing to buy in there either. But it's every week. We take a different thing, we break it down, we give you tips on how to do it. Very actionable steps, very easily digestible chunks. Okay, and also goes with that, I have a private Facebook group. If you're on Facebook and you want to join that, we have, I think, about 10,000 people in there. We have no spam, no selling. It's all about changing our lives. It's people like me, people who've done this. I'm in there, but if you come in there, you're going to find like-minded people that are there to try to help you. So to get those two things, you just go to brentsgroup.com. So BRENTS group.com, and you put in your email address. You'll get on my email list. You'll get that every week, and you can join the group. You'll get an invite. Again, there's nothing to buy. It's just a little auxiliary thing. So if you're going to try this, you need the steps. If you've got a coach, you're getting coaching from someone, you can get a little more motivation, a little more fuel in there. So brentsgroup.com. That's it. We can always do another one of these. It's been great talking to you. So if you need me again, we'll do another one. But if you're out there and you're wondering if you can do this, you can. I promise you, wherever you are, whatever you look like, whatever you do for a living, none of that matters, because this is in you and it's there for everyone. Doesn't matter. So you can do this.
And all the links to Brent and where you can find him will be in the description of this podcast. And guys, conversations like this I have with my clients. I help spiritually inclined people burn fat and build muscle. And as Brent said, if you find someone that you trust and you want to learn something, you need to do the action and work with that person who they can teach you, because they've gone through all of the work, done all the research, and they can give you a fast track progress. So if you want to get into shape, summer is literally here. So there's really no time at all. So if you want to at least have some results this summer, then you need to act now. So if you want to start this fitness journey, hit me up on my Instagram at Adriano_246, or my name on Facebook, Todd Cave. Send me a message and let's see if you're a good fit for the Compound Body Training Army. And as Brent has said, fears and traumas pretty much run our entire life because they create so much programming. So if you are on a spiritual journey, or you would like to start a spiritual journey and you would like some help removing some fears and traumas, hit me up on my Instagram at Adriano_246, or my name, Todd Cave, and they can help you to get some magic mushrooms. And if you would like to support this podcast, you can visit our merch store on Amazon with the name Todd and Me. We have some cool t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and sweats. Link will be in the description of this podcast. And today I'm wearing the Conscious Man 7 shirt.
Nice.
Thank you. So if you would like to support this podcast and help us to do things like video editing and to do some research and to get some good quality guests to come on like Brett today, please visit our Amazon store and help us with that cause. And guys, this has been an awesome conversation. So if this conversation opened your mind or touched your heart, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone you love, leave a review, and smash that like button, because this is how we ripple truth, healing, and possibility across the world. Brett, it's been a great conversation. Thank you again for coming on to the Conscious Man 7 podcast. And I'm sure we can do it again, because I really enjoyed this conversation. And I wanted to ask some more questions, but we just ran off the time, and we went over even a little bit. But so thank you for being patient with us. So guys, this was another amazing conversation. And we have some more great, amazing guests coming soon. And don't forget, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep being the change you want to see. Speak to you soon. Cheers and namaste.